In today's video, I'm going to show you how to generate leads for a service business. But what I'm going to show you today can be used pretty much to generate leads for any type of business. All right, so what we need in place is a page builder. I'm using Divi, and you also need WP funnels and something to manage your emails. And in this case, you can either use Mailmint or Fluent CRM. All right, so let's go ahead. I've already gone ahead and installed these softwares. I will leave a link in the video description below. Some of them have discounts and bonuses. So I'll be very happy if you use those links. All right, so let's head over now to WP funnels. So the first thing you want to do is to go to settings, because this is where you're going to specify what page builder you're going to use. So for example, I use Divi, so I've gone ahead and selected Divi. But if you use Elementor, you can choose it here, or Gutenberg or Oxygen. All right, the next step now is to go ahead and start building our funnel. So I'm going to come over here to funnels, and then I'm going to say create your first funnel. So for this example, we're going to build from scratch. So I'm going to click on start from scratch. All right, so we're going to call this Mac funnel, but of course you can name this whatever you want, or let's call this Mac leads. How about that? Because this is now pretty much in line with what we're trying to do. Create funnel. So now let's start with our first step. So I'm going to click here on this plus button. So this is going to be our main landing page. I'm going to say start from scratch and give this a name. So let's call this landing page. Create step. Okay. So the idea here is if we want to give away something for free, maybe a discount or whatever it is, it needs to also lead to a thank you page. So this is what we're going to be creating in a moment. But for now, let's go ahead and work on this page. So I'm going to go in by clicking on this little pencil icon. So what's happening now is this is now opening up in our page builder. So let's say use Divi. All right, so let's click on edit with the Divi builder. We're going to build this from scratch, and we are going to add a single column. All right, so for this, we're going to need a text module. So let's go ahead and add in all our text in here. So let's replace this with our own text. Next, we're going to come over here to design and just make sure that our text here is centered. So I'm going to scroll all the way down here, center this. Now, I also want this to be slightly bigger. So let's go ahead and increase the size. So we're going to go from 14 pixels to about, let's say 20. And we might need to change the font as well. So I'm going to go in and change this to Poppins. But in your case, you can choose pretty much any fonts you want. All right, so now that I have that, let's change this to bold and increase the size a little bit more. Okay, so now let's increase the line height. So this information here is important because you want to make sure that when people land on this page, they can read what is here and nice and clear. All right, so that's looking great. I'm going to save that. I'm going to hover over here, click on this plus button again, and I'm also going to add a text module like that. So let's paste our text in here like that. So just like how we did before, let's center it. So I'm going to come over here to design, text. Let's move this over to the left here so you can see what I'm doing. All right, so let's scroll down, increase the size a little bit to about 20. And then this time we're going to center it and change the font to Poppins as well. There we go. All right, so that's looking great. But what I need now is to drag this over to the top. Okay, so now that we have the text here, the top line there is just like an introductory text, and then that's our main message. But in your case, you can have this message to say whatever you want. All right, so the next step now is to click here on this plus button, and we're going to add another row. So for this row, I'm going to add an image. So I'm going to add an image module, click in here. So I have an image here in my library, which I'm going to use. So I'm going to go ahead and select it and then upload image. Again, I need to come over here and center it. So I'm going to go in and go to alignment. We're going to center it like that. Okay, it's centered now. And what we're also going to do is we're going to add some rounded corners here. So I'm going to scroll down, go to border, and let's set this to 10. There we go. In fact, maybe we can add this and make it 16. All right, so we have our rounded corners now. This is looking great. So that's our image. That goes along with pretty much our text. So the next step now is to add another module, and this time we are going to add our opt-in form. So I'm going to type in WP, and then you're going to see here WP opt-in form. I'm going to select it. So there we go. We might need to style this a little bit because right now it doesn't look very exciting. So let's go in and do that. So I am now going to go into the field label. So here is where you can go in and activate other labels. If you need to, you can make it required. And if you want to add the last name, you can enable the last name. But for this example, I think I'm going to add the first name. There we go. So now we have the first name, email, and submit. Okay, so the next step now is to head over now to the design tab. So let's go to sizing. So we're going to adjust our width because this is a bit too much. Let's go with 80%. We're going to center it. All right, so we have our form now all ready. So the next step is very, very important. I forgot to mention this. I need to come back in here. So we need an option here on what happens if someone adds their name and email address. So what we need to do is to scroll down here until we see after submission. Okay, so what we need here is other action. So we want this to go to the next step. So I'm going to click on next step. Great. So I'm going to hit save. And pretty much we are good to go. I'm going to save the page as well. So what's important here is not just to have one landing page. And this is why I've used WP funnels. We want to have another variant so we can test to see how these two are performing against each other. Because sometimes you may think that you have a fantastic message and it's going to resonate with everyone, but it might not be the case. So why not play it on the safe side and add another variant here? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and duplicate this one that I've just built, but we're going to keep things very easy here. On the other one, I'm just going to add a video so that we can see how the video is going to perform. So I'm going to click here on this pencil icon, and now this is going to open up and again in another tab. So instead of having just the text and the image, we're going to replace the image with the video. Okay, so we're going to come over here, go into our settings. In fact, we can delete this and then add our video module. So I'm going to click here on this plus button, search for video. I'm going to select it. All right, so you can see there's our video right there. So in your case, you want to go in and add your video URL. So for now, I just want to add an overlay because an overlay is very important for our design. So the color here is fine. I'm going to leave that as a default. But the most important thing is to add an overlay image. So I've just clicked on it. So let's choose the same image that we used. I'm going to upload the overlay image. And now you can see that we have a play button here, and I'm going to hover over it. It has this overlay color. All right, great. So if you want to change the color of that play button, you can just come over here, go to play button and change this to white, for example, and then we're going to save. So what we're testing here is to see how the normal image and the video is going to perform. You may even take this a step further and go in and change this text here, you know, to say something else, and then compare the two. So these are the two pages. Now we want to come over here to traffic distribution and just make sure this is set to 50-50. So we want 50% of visitors to go on the first one and 50% to go on the second one. Let's hit save and we're going to close out of here. The next step now is to come over here to these three little dots. In fact, we need to go to start so this can now start working. So once we're happy, we can come over here to stats and then see which one is performing, and then the one that wins is the one that we select over here and declare the winner. All right, great. Now let's go back twice. So this is going to be our thank you page. So I'm going to click here on this plus button and let's choose our thank you pages here. So in fact, let's just build one from scratch. We're going to call this thank you. So for this example, you may be wondering, but Mac, all we've done is created two landing pages. So this is where you have to decide how you're going to give some information, whether it's a discount, whether it's a download, whether it's a mini course. It's up to you now with your business. But most companies, if you're selling products, you can say maybe 10% on your first purchase, and then you give them a coupon code. So this is where now you can add the coupon code on the thank you page after they've entered their name. So what you do now is we come over here to the thank you, we click on the pencil icon, and again, we can design this page that way. So we're going to give this page a bit of design, just like how we did with Divi. Now I'm going to say edit with Divi. So, okay, we're going to build from scratch, single column. We're going to add a text module. So now we're just going to say thank you. So we're going to pretend that this is going to be, in fact, let's go back. Let's make it nice and big. Change this from paragraph to heading 2, like that. We're going to center it. And then over here on the design, we're going to make sure that we go to heading 2. Change this from default to pop-ins, like that. And then now over here on the regular, we're going to go with bold. And then we're just going to increase the size like that. Okay, so that's looking great. Let's add another one. Click here on this plus button. It's going to be a text module. We're going to center this, and then we're just going to say your coupon code is whatever. Your coupon code is, all right, so I'm just going to call this your coupon code is MAC50. We're going to make this bold. And then if you want to add a message like, please bring this coupon code the next time you visit the store, whatever it is, you can go ahead and do that. Now we're going to go ahead and save. We're going to save one more time. And pretty much that's our thank you page all designed. So that's that page. So once someone comes in, they enter their name and email address, they're going to go to the thank you page where they're going to see the coupon code. So now you're probably thinking, okay, so how have we collected our leads? So this is where Fluent CRM comes in. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to Fluent CRM. We're going to go to tags. So over here, I'm going to create a brand new tag, and I'm just going to call this customer or lead. How about that? And create. All right, great. So now we have our lead here. So we can further automate this if we need to, but for now, we're just going to collect all our leads in our email database. So let's go back now to WP funnels. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back in here, click on these three little dots here on the top, and then we're going to go to integrations. So our integration here is going to be Fluent CRM. And for this event now, we're going to click on this drop down and say, after opt-in, we'll select that, and then we're going to say add to list, and then we're going to create our, add our tag, which we've just created, like that. We're going to hit save and save one more time. So what we've done now is you can see our integration here is in place. We have created a landing page. They're going to go on the thank you page where they have the discount, and then they're going to be automatically added to our mailing list. Now, do you see how powerful this is? Once we have our list of leads, in fact, let me show you what the database or the dashboard is going to look like. We're going to have now a list of all these customers or leads over here. It's going to tell us how many contacts we have. Now, once we are ready to send an email, this is where we can come over here to campaigns, and then we're going to create our first campaign. So let's call this discount, create campaign. So let's say I add all my text here. We're going to go to the next step. We're going to give the subject. We're going to go to the next step. And this is where now you can choose which tag goes with the email that you want to create. So if I click here on the drop down, you can see here I've got lead. So this email now will be sent to just the leads that have opted on that page. So if you have any other ways of collecting emails, you can really segment them here and send them to the right place. So as you can see, this is a very, very powerful system. If you're a freelancer, I'd highly recommend that you use this. And this really shows that you have a system that captures all the leads and you can send them emails after the fact, which is very, very powerful. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the video description below. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.